In the next 5 questions, or 5 lesson videos, we are going to be dealing with this long passage before us. See, this passage, it's a difficult passage. And so the next few lessons are going to be entitled Difficult Passage. Now we're going to get a bunch of different question types, one for each lesson video, and we're going to start with this one. The passage suggests which of the following about Under the Volcano. Notice that there are only 3 answer choices. We do not have our typical 5 A through E answer choices. You may also notice that the answer choices have brackets around them. Why? Well, this is the GRE's way of telling you that this is a multiple answer question, meaning that this question may have more than one correct answer. So that's again why we see those little brackets. So in this question, let's start with A. And what we have to do is go through each answer choice, evaluate the passage, and see whether or not that answer choice is true. So let's start with A. It has been universally hailed as a masterpiece. Is this the case? Well, we go back to the passage, and what the passage says is that a lot of people have hailed it as a masterpiece. In fact, most of the beginning of the passage says this. But then there is the other side, the yet. Qualification is a limiting of something, in this case of a statement, which is Under the Volcano is a great novel. And the limiting of the statement shows that a lot of people don't necessarily think it's that great of a book. Some might call it a rather good imitation of an important novel. Therefore, we can get rid of answer choice A because the passage does not suggest it has been universally hailed. So out with A. A is incorrect. Next we have B. A few critics have considered Under the Volcano an imitation of other neglected literary works. Now, if we read through the passage, as you should do before answering these questions, this one may jump out at you as being a correct answer. The reason? Well, if you look down here at the passage, it says that Under the Volcano has been undervalued as a self-indulgent confessional regurgitation of Ulysses, of another novel. So, and we see imitation. So it's an imitation of other novels. And so we go back here to answer choice B, and we circle it. And there's one problem. That is, you're not going to get the answer right, or the question right, because B is not correct. And the answer, maybe your question, is why. Why is it not correct? And that's because of the word neglected. See, there's nothing in the passage telling us that this work, Ulysses, is a neglected literary work. In fact, there's nothing really telling us that Under the Volcano is a neglected literary work. It implies that Under the Volcano is an imitation of other neglected, means, Under the Volcano is also neglected. So this is one of the answer choices that's almost correct, but there's a little word, sometimes it's just one word as we have here, and sometimes it's a few words that are not supported in the passage, and therefore that answer choice is incorrect. And of course, the reason the GRE has to do this is it has to make these questions seem almost right, but have a little something in there that makes them wrong. Otherwise, a lot of these questions would be too easy. Now, in this case, we know the answer has to be C, because one of these has to be correct. Why is C correct? Some academics have focused on elements of the novel that are not immediately accessible. Well, we find information to support this in the middle, or the latter middle part of the passage. It says here that some academics have read this work and have looked for these hidden meanings, these esoteric allusions, these arcane correspondences, stuff that is not immediately accessible to most. Again, the word esoteric means very difficult to understand. Most people don't know about it. Arcane has that similar meaning of difficult to understand, almost secret. And so it's exploring elements of the novel that are not immediately accessible to all. So, therefore, the answer is C. Again, when doing these multiple answer questions, it's a good idea to do one answer choice at a time, work your way through there, and always base your answer on information in the passage.